I've seen this new kind of trend going around on TikTok where people are talking about having a personal curriculum for a month, a week, whatever, where basically they have like a list of things they want to read, things they want to do, things they want to learn about, just kind of like a to-do list, but romanticized. That's what I'm seeing. But a lot of them are kind of like academic based, you know, like learning about philosophy, and I thought I'm gonna make my own September curriculum, because if you don't know, or if you didn't know, I'm going on a gap year before going to uni. Next year I want to study archaeology, and I intended to have a job by now, but either I'm just crazy bad or the job market is insane and I still haven't got a job. So I figured until I do get a job, I need something to fill my days with. So in my commonplace journal, I've written down a September curriculum for myself. I am 18, if nobody knew that. And in the UK, you can start driving from the age of 17. But because I had my A-levels, which would have kind of gotten in the way of that, and if you don't know me, I'm very obsessive about work, especially academics, and so I didn't really want driving to get in the way of getting a good grade. So I still haven't properly started driving. I've downloaded the theory test kit on my phone, and I've started theory revising, but I want to start properly driving in September, whether that's just doing theory and doing the test and then getting an instructor, but I want to be able to do that. Also, of course, because I'm very obsessed with classic literature, especially with ancient Greek and the Romans, I did classics A level. We're not going to talk about that now. I want to learn ancient Greek and Latin. I've already started a course on the Open University for this, and I know a little bit of ancient Greek, but I want to fully like get stuck into this, do this daily, be disgustingly overeducated in ancient Greek and Latin, which leads me on to just one of the like kind of more academic books that I'm looking to read in September. This book called Homer's Daughter. Out of the Iliad and the Odyssey is my favourite. I love them both. Don't get me started on Virgil's Aeneid, because I despise that book with a burning passion. However, the Odyssey is one of my favourite epics. I still need to read Beowulf, so that might change. However, this book, I believe, is a discussion of whether the Odyssey was written by a woman and was set in Western Sicily, I think. Oh, yes. And if you have read the Odyssey, Nausicaa, the princess, in book 6 and kind of book 7 and 8, for the Phaeacians, he suggests that this character represents the woman who wrote the Odyssey. And I thought that's a really interesting concept and spin on the epic, and so I figured I would read this alongside learning ancient Greek and perhaps reread the Odyssey while I'm there, because I want to reread the Odyssey. I love that book. Okay, furthermore, I am a massive journaler and I'm a massive tea fanatic. I could show you the outrageous collection of tea that I have, and I want to start like putting into my tea journal, because I have a tiny little Dead Poet Society journal that my friend got me, that I've started putting like flavoured teas in to just, you know, write down my rating of it, if I enjoyed it or not. And I just want to get back into journaling, because I have been journaling more frequently recently, especially over the summer months, because again, during my A-levels I kind of stopped everything just to study. But I just want to get back into doing all my different journals, like my reading journal, my tea journal, my diary, all that kind of thing. So I'm definitely going to get into doing that. I've got a massive stack of journals that I am ready to use. And that also brings me on to something similar with sketching, because during our A-level I think I kind of lost my love for art, which is understandable because I was hell. And I want to get back into sketching, I want to get back into drawing, I want to get back into actually enjoying this hobby that I've been obsessed with since I was a child, that I thought I was going to go on and do in the future. So of course I want to get back into that. I've been doing a lot of digital art recently, which I never thought I'd say because I used to be a bit of a digital art hater, but it's just quite accessible when I've got my iPad with me everywhere. This is a little more kind of niche. I want to look into English folktales, and not, it's just unfortunate that it's coming with the correlation of like white supremacists in England now, but I just think I know about English history a lot. I know about like the medieval times in England and all that. I know about Celts and all that, but I don't really know much about English folktales. I mean, you hear like the Jersey Devil in America and Bigfoot and all that kind of thing, but I feel like I've only ever heard about the Green Man, but the Green Man isn't really and like the Selkie in England, and I want to know more about creatures and folk stories from the UK. And thankfully one of my amazing friends gave me a book for this. This is more folk horror anthology, which I'm not sure if this is specifically for the UK. I think that it can help me get started with just folk and horror tales in general. So I want to get into this as well and just learn a little bit more about that. Okay, the next thing on my list is just jobs, which is still very much a work in progress. If I don't end up manage to get employed at the end of September, I might be going round Europe with my dad. So, a bit of a random thing. And also, if I don't end up getting a job, at least just doing some volunteering somewhere or something, because what's the point in taking a year out if I'm not going to do anything? And then travel is also on there. Those are very interchangeable. I think if I don't end up getting a job within the next few weeks, then I'll definitely go on to travelling, and then I'll have to figure out what I'm doing from then onwards. And then my last thing on the curriculum is to look into Aztec history, because I very much know quite a bit about a lot of different kind of nations of history, especially ancient Egypt, I'd like to say. And I think I had an interest in South American, Central American history before. During my Spanish A-level, I did my IRP on the Nazca lines, and one of my classmates, she did her IRP on, I think it was about the Spanish conquest and how it impacted the Aztec people, and that was really, really interesting for me, because I was thinking about doing my IRP on El Dorado, which is the city of gold, and so I want to look more into just general like Aztec mythology, the gods, you know, how they lived, all that kind of thing. So yeah, I think that'd be really interesting. A lot of it is history based, as you might guess, considering I'm doing archaeology. And that's my September curriculum. Of course I'm going to be doing many other things, like reading many other books. I recently finished my Year of Rest and Relaxation, which I will recommend to anyone. I hope you enjoyed. I think creating a curriculum, whether or not it just seems like a to-do list to you, I think it's a very fun idea. I think it just helps you fill up your days with not scrolling on TikTok, because I know you're watching this video scrolling on TikTok right now. I know you're gonna close YouTube and you're gonna scroll on TikTok. I know you came from TikTok here, or Instagram Reels. So get some information into your brain.